walk you through the steps required to complete the Unit 4 summative assessment. You will see the Unit 4 summative assessment under Unit 4 in Google Classroom. There are several documents attached. The idea of what you have to do specifically is in this Unit 4 assessment slideshow. Here you are being asked to look at two different sources. One is called City on a Hill from Ronald Reagan, and the other one is What We Got Wrong. So if you go back to these documents, you have two PDFs here at the top, Ronald Reagan's City on a Hill and What We Got Wrong. This one is a primary source, this one is a secondary source. In order for you to answer some of the questions on the slideshow, we have other documents here, one on American identity that we did in class. You will see that this looks very familiar when we talked about positive, negative, and items that are both positive and negative as far as American identity is concerned. I will close that out for now. And you also have the learning goal definitions of what we mean by conflict, what we mean by cooperation, and what we mean by inaction. So here you're going through the primary source. How does it reflect conflict, cooperation, and inaction as defined in the other document that you saw in the assignment? You'll do the same thing with the secondary source, what we got wrong. How does that exemplify conflict, cooperation, and inaction? And I want you to provide 2 or 3 examples for each of these categories as you read the sources. Then I want you to take the 2 sources, the Reagan source and the what we got wrong, and think of 4 things that they have in common. And then what are the 4 things that are different about them? Then in the next slide, you're going to talk about American identity and 4 ways that the sources, both the Reagan source and the what we got wrong source, reflect American identity. And again, go back to the American identity document here in order to figure out how the sources reflect that. So you have 2 slides here. One is for the first 2 ways that it reflects American identity. One is for the second 2 ways that it reflects American identity. To continue, in conclusion, I want you to answer this question in 3 to 4 sentences. What is the media's role in defining American identity? And you can use any of the sources that we used during Unit 4, which would be the secession of South Carolina, Radio Fever, the source we did on Malcolm X, the 2 sources we looked at on the Boston Massacre, or using the Reagan source from this particular assessment. And lastly, you're going to, again, I gave you 2 slides so that you can come up with as much information as possible, because again, it's in 3 to 4 sentences, and this slide you may run out of room. So if you want to put your last 2 sentences here, that's why the last slides are for. If you have any questions, see me in class or give me an email. Good luck.